business. In the last 2 weeks, you've deposited $11,000. Now you got the shades on because you think you're cool. 11 grand last 2 weeks. Just kidding, guys. He had eye surgery yesterday, and today he sold an $1,800 deal. It shows that you can do it while blind, so it's not the hardest sale in the world. So, Abdullah, you started 3 months ago. What really attracted you to this business, and what did you do before this?
So before this, I did a little bit of door-to-door sales. I did some car sales. I even did some day trading. And um, what attracted me to this was really the consistency. Door-to-door, it's like you wait so long to get paid. Car sales, you're not really in control of what you do. And then day trading, obviously, that's its own mess. Whereas with here, you can get consistent sales where there's not really a cap to your income, and then you can scale at a much larger pace than you can with really anything else I've tried.
Yeah, and you got started. We didn't really do any training at the start. You just got on the phones and you just went through the script. You listened to my calls and you were calling at the same time. So how important for you was it to take action and just get started immediately?
That was the most important thing. Like when I first came in the first day, I was just like put me in, coach. Like, let me play.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of people overanalyze the different products, the different scripts. They're trying to see if this is the right fit for them. Where the reality is, if you just hit the phones, then you can make your first sale in your first day or two, and then you deposit 500 to $1,000. Typically, when you start, you're on just basic final expense. You're calling age leads, people that have inquired about insurance like 3 to 6 months ago. You're getting a lot of reps in, right? So what we want to do is shorten that learning curve up to the point where in your first month you can get the hang of and be like a top sales rep after your first month in the business. So Abdullah, you took a lot of action right away. You're showing up early, staying late the first 2 months in the industry. How did that prepare you to scale your business from that part forward?
So the first 2 months was really hard. It was day in and day out, I would make 700 to 800 calls a day and not get any sales. And I would leave at 8 p.m. with no sales after making 800 calls. And I would come back the next day at 7 in the morning to do the same thing all over again.
Yeah. So, I mean, that goes to show if you put the work in, you're going to find someone that's willing to talk to you, willing to, buy the product that you sell. And so that gives you the capital to invest into fresher leads. So the point where it really popped for you was instead of making 800 calls a day, you're making a couple hundred, but they're higher intent leads. So that's the point where we want to get to, is making all those dials to the point where we're reinvesting in the business. We're getting higher intent leads so that you're on the phone more talking to people rather than just dialing and listening to the phone ring all day, right? So what did you do from dialing 800 calls a day to you wrote like 30K in your second month in the business?
What did I do?
What did you do?
When I got on the better leads, or when I got on the higher intent leads, I would dial them the exact same way. I would go through, I would try to hit 700, 800 calls a day. It was a lot harder because I was actually getting a lot more presentations. And there was a point in time where I went through, 16 presentations, and I got no sales. But I kind of had the same mindset of going through 800 calls in a day and getting no sales. A lot of people would quit after, number 5 and they get no sales. Number 6, they get no sales, they would give up. But what really made the difference was after number 10, I kept going. After number 12, I kept going. After number 16, I just kept going. And eventually, number 17, I got a sale. And then the next 3-4 days, I wrote 12K in business. And
it just happens quickly.
It all kind of clicked at once. And then ever since then, it's just been up from there.
It's been very consistent. I mean, you have to, during that time when you were 0 for 16, there were little things that you were doing, like not the best tonality in the script, not the best, objection handling, and just little things that you do in the script in your objection handling and building value and building pain in the sale that adds up to something big where you can get consistent and close 30% of your whole business and in your whole presentation. So a presentation is where you get from the top of the script, the intro, all the way to pitching numbers to the client. And typically we look for about 50% rate after you get to pitching numbers to the close rate. So if you can get through that multiple times, like you were doing 6 to 8 a day, like just crazy numbers.
Yeah.
And then you started to get 1, 2, even 3 deals, 4 deals a day from then on.
Yeah. And then after that point, before then, I always thought that I was doing everything right. I was like, I don't get what I'm doing wrong. My tone is perfect. I'm reading the script word for word. But what really changed was that I was recording my calls. So I went back and listened to everything, start to finish. I sat down with Weston, I sat down with Morgan, and they listened to my calls, and then they kind of just walked me through what I was doing wrong. And all I did was I implemented what they were telling me, and it works. Like what they tell me is gonna work if I just implement it.
Yeah, and he sounds copy paste to like my script, my tonality, my objection, literally the exact same on the entire script. I could literally hear what he's like gonna say next.
And that's
all
because
the time.
when I first started, I sat next to him and I just listened to him make the same call hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times that it just got ingrained into my mind. And from the first time I made the call with that script, I already knew it. Now it's to the point where I can say the whole script without even looking at it. One time I was driving from LA to Phoenix and I get a lead and I just call her up while I'm driving. And I go through the script, and then she sounds pretty interested, so I pull over on the side of the highway, pull out my laptop, and I close her for, I think it was $1,800.
On the border.
On the border of California and Arizona. So
Yeah,
that was
so
a fun one.
peak virtual sales right there. You're in your 3rd month in the business. You plan on writing 65 grand at least next month.
At least, issue paid.
Issue paid business. That'll probably profit him between 30 and 40 grand after lead spend, chargebacks, all of it. And what that's going to allow him to do is once he hits a big month, 2, 3, 4 months in a row, that's going to allow him to expand his team. And he already has a few people being onboarded. 2 Abdullahs on his team. He's Abdullah. He's got 2 Abdullahs. We got 2 more Abdullahs being onboarded, so 5 Abdullahs. What's your plan to scale your business?
I just want to have them do the exact same thing that I did because it worked for me. I just did the same thing Weston did, copy and paste. So I just want them to copy and paste what I did because it works. And then have them do the same thing with, people that they want to bring on. Because it's a copy paste business. All you got to do, you don't have to invent anything new. You just have to do what's already working. You just have to train people to do exactly that.
Yeah, and we have the scripts for a reason, guys. It's a very simple product. People know what life insurance does for them. People actually inquire about the life insurance, and we call them. So we're not pushing a product on someone that doesn't want it. We're not knocking doors. We're calling people that request it, so we're essentially order takers. And if you master your tonality, master the script and all that, then you can build a very sustainable business. So you're looking to get your comp increase the next year. You're looking to get to like a 120, 130, really build a massive, massive team. Is your plan to kind of scale your agency, maybe open up your own office? Like what's your plan, income goal by the end of the year?
Income goal, I really want to hit 6 figures a month. I really have to sit down and, plan out a realistic date of when I want to hit that. I think that's really important. I don't have that yet. But definitely 6 figures a month in income is where I want to be at. Hopefully by the end of the year, if not definitely sometime in 2027.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to have a more clear goal of like when I want to hit that.
Definitely. So big vision. For the new people, your team, for new people that are getting in the industry, what are some things that took you from 0 to 16 for your presentations to you were closing like 1 out of 2 or 1 out of 3, presentations in your next 2 months?
For me personally, it was my tone of voice, but it's going to be different for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's really important to record your calls to listen to where you personally, you're going wrong. Because the script works, the leads are good, the product is good. The only difference is who's selling it. So if you just record your calls and I listen to them, or Weston listens to them, or Morgan listens to them, anybody can listen to them and point out where you're going wrong. As long as you record it, we have somehow to know where you're going wrong. If you're not recording it, we're just guessing, and it's not really going to help anybody.
Yeah, I mean, for you, it was tonality. Like I was too. He sounded super excited when he started, and I was super monotone when I started. And then Morgan was like, dude, you need to stop being monotone. And then I sounded too excited. But then I found that middle ground, which is where I think you really cracked the code, is like, you found the middle ground of not being too excited on the phones versus being too boring on the phones.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then also building rapport in the script. So how important, like for you, was building rapport, and where do you build rapport in the script?
It's really important to do it in a controlled manner. You don't want to build too much rapport. That was a problem I had at first, especially coming from car sales and door to door. You want to, when you're in that industry, you want to be very friendly. You want to make a friend. Whereas here, it's not a good habit to have because it's really easy to say no to a friend when they ask for your social or for your bank. But then I kind of toned it down because I realized I was losing people because of that. But I toned it down too much to the point where I wasn't building any rapport at all. But it is important to build it, to kind of sprinkle it in there. So a little bit in the beginning is fine. You definitely don't want too much in the beginning. I like to do it in the application when I'm asking medical question, because those kind of questions kind of raise their guard, and kind of sprinkling it in around there kind of lowers it, kind of evens it out.
Yeah, and going through all the other questions before coming back to the social is important too. And building rapport before the application, building rapport in the application, and then they're in the habit of asking questions or answering questions, and then they get to the social part, and then they give it to you. Obviously, we need it because we're licensed brokers and we fill out the application for people. We're not like forcing it, but companies need it for their medical records, so that's why we ask for the social. And then obviously the banking is sensitive information. Like there were deals where you got all the way, you got the social, but you didn't get the banking. So like when you get to banking and they give you an objection, there's a couple different reasons for that. Either they don't trust you or they don't want to do it right away. How do you overcome that objection?
Yeah, so it's really one of probably three reasons. They either don't trust you, they don't like the product enough, or it's too expensive for them. And my problem was I would always get banking objections, but I wouldn't handle the objection correctly. Like sometimes he would straight up, there was this one guy who straight up told me, like he doesn't trust me. He's like, I need to do more research on you. And then I tried to downclose him. So I tried to bring him down from 500 to like 200 a month. And he straight up told me, he's like, that's not my problem. And so it's really important to know why he's not giving it to you, and then handle it accordingly. So it's also important to react quickly and very casually. I would get very nervous at first whenever I even sensed a banking objection come up. I would mute the mic and then ask Weston. I was like, dude, what do I say? And the customer would just sit in silence for 30 seconds, and I would come back with a rebuttal. And at that point, no matter what you say, no matter how good the rebuttal is, if you mute for 30 seconds after they give you a bank objection, no matter how good the rebuttal is, it's not going to work.
And that's why the training's so important too. Like if you're not quick with the objections and answering the questions from the client, if you pause for even a couple seconds, they're going to lose trust in you because they sense that as inexperience. They want someone that's confident on the phones and not like over explain themselves like why we need the bank just to submit the application. They know that you're beating around the bush. If you ask for your social, too needy. If you ask for bank, too needy. You just say simply like why you need it. Sounds super chill. Like what I did when I started is I would physically like lean back in my chair like this and make sure that my tone of voice was chill in a way. I was not like super needy. I wasn't like leaning forward like this and just over explain myself on the phone because that's not good and they're going to distrust you. So 6 figures a month, end of the year, you're going to build a team. You're posting on social media too. So you're posting, growing your following. How important has posting been for growing your team early on?
It's been one of the biggest decisions, one of the biggest, how do I say it? It's like one of the best decisions I made in growing not just my team but myself as well. It holds me responsible.
True.
So when I first started, I set out what I thought was a completely unrealistic goal of submitting $40,000 in life insurance in my first month, in the shortest month too, in February. And I posted it on my personal profile, so I didn't make like another account with 0 followers. I posted it on my main account where everybody from high school, everybody from the gym, all my family, all the girls would follow me and see what I was posting. And it was really, really challenging. Like 40,000, I had no idea what I was doing. But I was like, I'm gonna sell 40,000 in my first month and I'm gonna document every single day of it. And I got pretty close. I ended up with
30?
like just under 31,000 in submit. And it got a lot of people to reach out to get, start getting licensed and contracted. It got a lot of people really excited about the industry, and it showed what was possible, and it showed, the struggles of my first 10 days was really, really hard. I was getting like no sales, and it was like, a third of the month is done. I'm at like 2,000 out of 40,000, and then out of nowhere, I just started dropping 5Ks, 3 deals in a day, 5K here, 4K there, and yeah, it just shows the progress, like that learning curve that everybody faces. I documented it in real time.
Yeah, a lot of people think, when they first start out, they shouldn't post because they're not the expert yet. But you started posting and just documenting your journey, like Gary Vee talks about, just documenting. You never run out of things to say when you're documenting, because you track your data, you track your sales, and give an authentic view of like the industry and what it looks like. My biggest regret when I joined the industry is people just see me just ripping sales like 2 to 4 a day, especially when I was on the phones all day, and people didn't see the first month, the second month in the business, where I made 4 sales my first 2 weeks on silvers, 2 of them charged back. Age leads. I was dialing all day, 12 hours a day in my room. People don't see that I spent a bunch of money on leads, lost a little bit of money, made it back. Like, people don't see the struggle in the first couple months, but I'm so happy that I reinvested into leads quicker, especially IUL leads, which are higher ticket. I learned the product a lot quicker, which allowed me to go from $5,000 weeks to $25,000 weeks immediately once I got on the in-house ad. I went from 5,000, next week was 25, next week after that was 27, next week was there from 26, and then I started building the team. People started to reach out and want to join my team because they see, like, hey, someone's there to coach me in sales. He actually knows how to sell, and he's proven the business to the point where he can show me his bank account. He's making $1,000 to $3,000 a day. And that's the biggest thing for recruiting, is showing proof and also documenting your journey early on. So like, that's the biggest regret for me, is not documenting my first couple months in the industry. So you're scaling quick, man. I'm excited for you to build out your team, personally sell 65 grand next month, and get on more leads. He's going to double his lead spend in the next couple weeks, which is very important. If you want to double your sales, you got to double your lead spend, take a little bit of risk. But Abdullah, happy to work with you, man.